Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the new Dune movie that came out, and you can also watch it on HBO Max if you have that, so you don't have to even go to the movie theater. Let's get right into it. I'm telling you right now, this movie made me so excited because like Star Wars kind of ruined itself with like the last couple of movies. They tried to redeem themselves with the last one, but the two before that they just ruined the whole thing for me. So I'm glad that Dune is making a comeback now. As some of you probably don't know, as I didn't know either, because I haven't watched any of the other ones or anything like that. This was originally a book that came out in 1965. Then the movie came out in 1984. Then they had a miniseries come out in 2000, and then now we have this one, which is the first one that I've ever seen, and I personally thought it was amazing. And so I did a decent amount of researching, so that's why I didn't have this come out as soon as the movie came out, because I wanted to I've watched the movie twice now, and I wanted to look up some other things so I know more about the movie so I can share it with you guys, so you don't have to do 5 hours of research like I did. So Dune is basically about, there's this planet where everybody can use this certain thing called spice for space travel. It's good if you ingest it, it makes you last longer, but then you have to keep taking it, and if you don't, you'll die. There's so many benefits to it. The different worlds, because everybody lives on different planets, the different worlds, they come here basically to mine it and bring it back to wherever they're at, and certain people control that planet for the mining or whatever. So that's basically what everybody's fighting over in this first one, and so you get to see it from different worlds' point of view. So it's kind of like Star Wars, how they have their different places, but I don't know. I hope that they keep making this series, because this was only part one. I'm guessing there's probably going to be 3 or 4 parts, for sure too, because even in the opening it says Dune Part 1. So looking up everything, they definitely can't fit this all into one movie, because it's got to be at least 10 hours worth of filming to film the whole, all the books and stuff together, because there's more than one book that the original author wrote. So the 3 worlds that you basically need to understand is Arrakis, which is the main sand planet where the spice is that people are fighting over constantly. The next one is Caladan, which is where Atreides is from, so that's the main characters from Atreides. The other one is, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but it's GD Prime or something like that. GD Prime, I don't know, something like that. But that's where the bad people are, the Harkonnen. Those are the main 3 that I think that you need to understand. So we just did the planets, so we'll do the organizations basically of each place. So there's the Sudokar, which are basically the people they're like the warriors for the emperor that runs everything, all the worlds. He's basically in charge, the boss man, tells everybody what to do. So he has some of the best warriors that there are. And then there's the Bene Gesserit, which is one of my favorite organizations in there. They're they're kind of like witches, but not really. They're basically trying to make a race, kind of like eugenics. They're trying to make the best possible outcome, because their goal in life is it's really hard to explain. They're trying to make everything the best possible way that it can be. So they're going through these bloodlines and testing out certain people and everything like that. After that, we have the Harkonnens, which is led by the Baron, is the main guy. So they're the bad guys. After that, we have the Atreides, and then we have the Fremen, which are from Arrakis. That they're the ones that actually live there or on Arrakis, where the spice is. They're kind of mad at everyone because everyone comes there just for the spice and is just basically invading their planet all the time. And this has just been happening for decades at this point. So yeah, I think that basically goes over all the organizations that you need to know. So the director of this movie, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Dennis something. It starts with a V, but I'm not gonna butcher it. But he actually read these books when he was younger, and he loves these books too. So he's so into making it the best possible way. I'm so glad that he's the director. I don't think anybody else could have made this movie any better. And he picked the right actors and everything. It's so good. I didn't know what to really expect, because I was I really like Star Wars, and I feel like there's really nothing else that can replace it. And then this comes out, and I'm this is amazing. So the book sold really well. The first movie that came out in 1984 was basically a flop. They spent $40 million on it and tried to film it at the cheapest possible places. They tried to fit the whole book in one movie, which the director of that movie wasn't even allowed to use all the scenes because it was, after he edited it and everything, it was like 4 hours long. So he was kind of mad at that. Didn't even want his name in the credits as the director. It ended up being like 3 hours long, and the critics just absolutely slammed it. The concept of this book was way too ahead of the technology that they had at the time to even produce a movie like that. Some of the things in there are the technology is way above anything that you could even make back then, or replicate with CGI. If you look up some of the stuff about the old movie, you'll be like, wow, that just looks ridiculous. And you can see why it flopped. So the characters mostly fight with swords and things like that. So you'll see they have these kind of invisible shields. If you look up how the old movie showed the shields and the new one, you're just like, okay, yeah, this movie should have been made now and not back then ever, because it just looks awful. So this isn't gonna spoil the movie or anything, so I'm just gonna tell you one of the things that I was thinking during this whole movie, because there's such good technology in this movie. They have lamps and stuff that will follow them around through the hallways and stuff. It's kind of cool. They have the force field shields around them if they're wearing their special thing for it. The one thing I was thinking about during the whole movie is okay, why are they fighting with swords? Don't they have technology to use guns and laser beams and just weird stuff like that? They eventually banned all AI stuff, robots, anything like that, because it took over their planets way back in the day before this movie, I don't know, or before that time, I guess. That's why you'll see different characters in there that almost seem like they have superpowers, like the doctor, because he just basically puts his hand up to people and he's like, okay, his vitals are all good. And then there's basically walking encyclopedias. Every little planet has their own guy that's basically knows everything and retain knowledge so well that they don't need computers or anything like that to memorize everything. That's why you see the medieval things of people using swords and stuff like that. So they got their shields for that, and they can basically hand combat each other, which I like, because kind of over the shooting movies, they're all really the same. There's no interesting guns or anything like that. Hand-to-hand combat is also really cool to watch instead of shooting. It really depends on the movie and everything else. Another thing about the movie, you will have to watch every single part of it and listen. Even if the part looks like it's a boring part, somebody is saying something important that you will need to listen to. That's why I watched this twice, because after watching it twice, there's so many things that I was thinking about that I thought that they didn't tell me, and they actually do tell you in there. They do a pretty good job of telling you how everybody came about and everything like that, and who is who, and what kind of powers that they have. The Bene Gesserit, the witch people or whatever you want to call them. They can see visions, see into the future as well into the past. But it's you have to really pay attention to what everyone is saying and what every single organization is doing, and then you kind of get a grip on everything that's going on. So pay attention. So overall, this is definitely a watch. I honestly can't even wait for Dune Part 2 to come out. I don't know how long it's going to take them to film it, or if they're even in the process of filming it. I don't know if they're trying to wait to see how well this movie does, see if they're even going to do another one, but I hope they do. It's very good, and I'm a fan. So hope you like that, and I hope I could give you some extra background, so when you start watching this movie, you'll be a little bit more informed on what's going on. I wish I had that. That would have helped me out so much if I would have just searched a little bit before I watched it. I tried not to put any spoilers in there, which I don't think I gave you any spoilers or anything like that, but just a little background knowledge on where or how this movie came about. And yeah, so I hope that helped out, and leave a comment down after you've watched the movie to tell me what you think about it, and I will see you guys next time.